They may not be on the best of terms at the moment.
We also will not be pushed around.
But hopefully they'll have resolved their differences by 2026, because that's when Canada, Mexico and the United States will jointly host the FIFA World Cup. On the eve of this year's Russian-hosted tournament, World Soccer governing body FIFA gathered in Moscow to pick the host for 8 years' time. And despite the Trump-Trudeau spat and fears that the tri-nation trade agreement NAFTA could collapse,
Canada, Mexico and USA have been selected.
The North American bid emerged the winner
to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
And it's not surprising. Rather than a game of two halves, this was more of a David and Goliath affair. The winning countries, who account for nearly a third of global GDP, facing off against Morocco.
Is one of the most welcoming countries.
The North African country was counting on the convenience of its proximity to Europe to clinch the bid. In the end, the promise of handsome profits, $11 billion for FIFA, according to US Soccer President Carlos Cordero, appears to have been enough to persuade its voting members.
Football today is the only victor.
This tweet from Trump in April, in which he questions why the US should support countries who would lobby against the North American bid, may also have had an impact. It was interpreted by some, at least, as a threat. And it's the US that will host the majority of the games, 60 compared to 10 apiece for Canada and Mexico, with the final held at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. The US previously hosted the World Cup in 1994, and Mexico in 1970 and 1986. Canada has never hosted a men's World Cup, but did host the women's tournament in 2015. Meanwhile, an African country has only ever hosted the competition once. The 2010 World Cup played in the continent's richest nation, South Africa.